Good afternoon. My name is Catherine and I'm one of the International Student Advisors here at Cardiff Met, and I am going to talk to you today about an important topic to make your time here easier and happier: culture shock and cultural differences. So let's get started. So first of all, I'm just going to quickly cover cultural differences. Now this can be something that causes culture shock later on. They're important topics to cover. A lot of these will be very familiar to you anyway, but we're just going to go over them very quickly. One thing that's really important in the UK, you might have heard, is how much we like to keep on time. At university, this would mean that if you are late to class, you might not get let in. Or at least you should explain why you were late. If you've got an appointment with one of our team or with one of any teams, we would probably wait 5 or 10 minutes, and then if you don't turn up, we would expect you to rearrange. So timekeeping, if you do have an appointment in the UK, not just at the university, anywhere, it is important to be on time or to explain in advance why you're not going to be. Please and thank you are considered a very important part of British culture. We say please and thank you a lot, even if we don't mean it. So just be aware that it would be considered rude here if you didn't say please or thank you at the end of a request or when somebody has done something for you. Queuing is another thing that we love to do in the UK. In some countries this isn't the norm. In the UK it very much is. We do queue for a lot of things, for most things. There's a joke that people sometimes just join a queue because there's a queue there. So if you are waiting for a service and there's other people in front of you, just stand behind them and that would start a queue. Gender and equality are two big topics that I'm going to cover very briefly. In the UK, men and women have rights to equal pay and equal role in society. There are no rules and regulations that prevent men or women from doing specific jobs. So if you are using a service, whoever they are, please treat them in a courteous and polite manner. And never assume that they are a certain member of staff just because they're a man or a woman. Any gender can be at any level within an organisation. So please make sure you treat everybody politely and courteously. It will get you further. You're more likely to get help if you are being polite. Smoking. Smoking is banned from all enclosed public spaces in the UK. It has been for a long while now. So you cannot smoke inside anywhere in the UK. So there are designated areas in public spaces outside where you can smoke. Just look for a smoking sign. On campus, we've been a smoke-free campus for a long while too, so you cannot smoke on campus anywhere. You'd have to leave the campus. This is Kincoid and Llandaff campus in order to smoke. Okay, so just be aware that if you start smoking on campus, you will get sent out of the campus. So let's move on to culture shock. Oh, sorry. We're going to talk about something called culture shock. Now, this is something that a lot of people experience when they arrive in the UK, not just when they arrive in the UK, when any student or anybody moves to a different country. I myself have lived in a few different countries and I studied abroad when I was at university, and I definitely experienced culture shock whilst I was there. So it's very common. It is a temporary feeling, but it can be something that a lot of international students suffer from when they do arrive in the UK. Things that can attribute towards culture shock, that can cause culture shock, are the difference in food. The UK is a brilliant place, but our food is not as interesting, tasty, spicy, exotic as a lot of the food that you might be used to. It might not be as fresh as the food you're used to. We tend to have stodgier, heavier food here. So that can cause a lot of people to struggle and to miss home. The climate can be another reason why a lot of people suffer from culture shock. It is cold and wet and damp in the UK. So a lot of you will be coming from warmer climates or just completely different type of climate. So please be aware that it is, especially when you're coming now in September, October, it can start to get cold and the nights get dark early. People, so you are used to having lived in a country with a certain set of norms and values, and that is going to be changed and challenged when you arrive in any new country. And the way of life here will be different to what you're used to at home. That is part of the joy and excitement about living abroad, but it also can contribute to culture shock. How to overcome culture shock. There are some things you can do to overcome culture shock. Now, culture shock can be a feeling of tiredness, depression, sadness, a feeling that you want to stay in, not go out, feel like you miss people from home, feel like you aren't gelling with anybody here. Just hearing, if for those of you that maybe English isn't your first language, just hearing English constantly and your brain having to process it can lead to culture shock. So there are things that you can do to overcome culture shock. Try and keep in contact with your friends and family back home. Share your news, information and photos about your life. Although you don't want to be constantly speaking to them, just otherwise that will prevent you from settling in here, it is important to keep in touch with your friends and family from home, just so that you've got that touch to where you have come from as well as where you are now. Have familiar things that have personal meaning, such as photographs around you. So keep little mementos, bring a few things with you from home to have around the house that you live in order to just remind you of those people and places that you love. Some students like to bring familiar food with them. So if you want to bring spices or anything like that with you, have a think before you arrive about bringing those kind of things. There is also a video on here on our YouTube channel about shopping in the UK, and my colleague explains where you could go and get more familiar food to yourself. There are a lot of shops in Cardiff and any UK city where you can buy the spices or the products that you're used to. Take regular exercise, get outside, get those feel-good endorphins going. Culture shock can be worse if you stay in and brood over it. So get out, get some fresh air, see new places, and that exercise will help you feel better. Do make friends with other international students. Although we do love it if our international students make friends with home students, that's ideal, that's great. It is nice to also have some international students as friends who are going through the same thing as you. They might not come from the same country, but they are going through the same thing. Be prepared to push yourself and go outside of your comfort zone to find new activities that will give you a common interest with your UK students. Music, sport, that kind of thing. We've got lots of societies. My other colleague covers it in a different video on this site. And they will be able to help you meet people, get involved in what's going on around Cardiff, and investigate the Students' Union societies especially. You can find links with faith, community, religious groups in the area. So if you've got a religion or a faith and that's important to you, or even if it wasn't as important to you at home, it might become more important to you here. There are ways you can connect with your faith community. Send us an email to ask us, and we'll be able to provide you with some links to get in touch with people who are in the same faith as you. That can often help overcome culture shock. And find somebody understanding to talk to. Please do come and speak to us, speak to your fellow students, speak to your tutors or somebody in the community about how you're feeling, and we'll quickly help you settle back into life in the UK. I touched there on religion being something that can help you if you've got a faith. Do remember that there are prayer rooms on both campuses. There's one on Kincoid in C block and there is one in Llandaff in A block. We also have a Cardiff Met chaplain who is here to guide and advise on all faiths in Cardiff Met. She's called Amira. She's lovely. If you email that email address there, she'll be able to put you in touch with a community group that might be more aligned to your faith or religion. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that culture shock also happens in reverse. It's called reverse culture shock. So if you look at this chart here, you'll see that on what normally happens is you'll arrive, you'll have a honeymoon stage where you feel excited and happy to be here. Everything's new, everything's interesting. And as time goes on a little bit, you'll start to feel a bit more tired, a bit more concerned about new ways, new foods, all of that will start to kick in and you might start to feel culture shock. It will then pick up and you'll start to feel happier, more independent, and you'll understand the system. It won't tire you out as much. And then you'll start preparing to go home. And unfortunately, what sometimes happens is something called reverse culture shock. I can remember having this when I came home from living. I lived in Turkey for a while. When I came back to the UK, I found it's very strange to be back, even though I'm from here. I found a lot of things that I had been used to all my life. I questioned them a bit more. So be prepared that that will happen as well. When you go back to your home country, you might feel reverse culture shock. That's totally normal and it will end up balancing itself out over time. Most importantly, please remember that culture shock is normal and temporary. You will overcome the feeling and you will enjoy your time in the UK, All our students end up having a lovely time. Many of them go through culture shock. Sometimes it's just a week here or there. Sometimes it can be a longer period of time. Do come and let us know, and we'll try our best to help you, and we'll put you in touch with people who can help you. Okay, there's more information on this UKESA website that I've put at the bottom there on facing culture shock and how to overcome it. It's worth a look. But please remember, you know, what you've done is a brave thing. To study abroad is an amazing experience. It's a really brave step. So you need to give yourself a break and realise that it's not going to be amazingly easy every day, but it is something that will be a lifelong skill and experience that you'll have with you. Once you just overcome that temporary blip, I'm sure you'll settle back in right away. More information about this and a lot of other aspects of life in the UK can be found on our Central page. I've just put the link there for you. And please do email us about this or any other topic that you want to speak to us about. Our email address is there on the screen. We'll take a few days to get back to you, but we will get back to you. Phone number there, and our Facebook and Instagram information is for you there. Okay, I hope this has been helpful, and please check out all our other videos on the YouTube channel. Bye.